Welcome, everybody. This is session 38 of our campaign, War for Crimson Rock. And we are, of course, at our homepage right now. I hope everybody can see, and I hope it's recording properly. So we'll take it from there. As usual, I'd like to ask someone to just give a recap of last time's episode, whatever you remember. And if not, I can definitely fill in the details, but I'd love to hear what you guys remember. So if someone would please like to volunteer and let us know what happened last time. And I know
wasn't here last time,
it might be a
so
little while too because that was 2 weeks ago. So if you guys don't remember, no offense taken.
Take it away, Kenneth.
Okay. All right. So last time and last session, we were, or rather, y'all were still at the guard station. And at this time, Dave had retrieved the manifest and he booked it. So he was gone. Mikage was being apprehended and arrested, and they were going to begin interrogating her. Ori was playing along and trying to essentially make sure that Mikage was going to be okay. And Pan was upstairs, unaware of all these things going on. However, he was eavesdropping on a conversation going on with Polemio, a particular guard that he is not too fond of, that they fought at the very once they entered into the city. And Polemio was talking with some unknown tiefling woman with an F sounding name. Listening to their conversation, Pan found out that this woman, had been leaking information to Polemio and that her information checked out with the intel that they had acquired. And so she was trying to get more favors in order to do whatever she wanted to do, whereas Polemio was a bit apprehensive about that. That was enough for Pan. He decided to jump out the window, and as he did so and he landed, he heard Mikage and Ori essentially being interrogated, or rather Mikage being interrogated. So he starts listening in. Keep in mind, Dave has booked, he's out, so he's got the manifest and he's running right now. Mikage, being Mikage, of course, is not making it easy for these guards and is putting up quite the verbal assault on them. She manages to bite one of their fingers off, and they essentially decide, hey, we're going to call in Balthazar to decide what to do because they want to slit her throat. Balthazar, being still very hungover, he comes over, decides, you guys still need to interrogate her, take her away, and give her 30 minutes. If that's not enough, then just kill her. So the one knight who is going who has basically been the lead in this case, takes Mikage, and he's very pissed off at her. He takes her over to another room with Ori kind of trailing behind a bit. And as they do so, he pushes her into a room, but instead of trying to interrogate her, he essentially decides, I'm just going to kill you now. With Ori, Pan meets up with Ori, and they try to figure out what to do to help, but they feel a certain surge. They get a notion. They say, hey, something's going on. I believe it's Mikage uses her breath, her lightning breath, which is able to shock him, sends him flying against the wall. Pan and Ori hear this, they rush back, and they see the knight completely knocked out on the ground. So they rescue Mikage, and then they head, and they just decide, you know what, this is enough, we're out. They leave. Okay, so y'all left the guard station. After leaving the guard station, you head back to the city where you're trying to figure out what the next plan of action is. Whether you've got a bit of information now, you've got the manifest with quite a bit of intel, and then afterwards, then you hear certain twinkling from your bag. And for those that aren't aware, we have our special magic shop, Hal Hijiru, who has a particular set of twinkling glasses that whenever you hear them, that's kind of a bell that lets you know that, hey, his shop is right nearby. Who lets you know that just a little bit of intel on his own side, that the two, I don't say victims, let's call them bodies, the two bodies that were brought in, one of them was a warlock and the other one was their friend Argus. Both happened to be, let's say, they're not undead, but they were dead undead, so to speak. It's kind of a weird, they weren't zombies, they weren't undead, but they were dead bodies,
Re-
reanimated, something like that. Yeah, we haven't quite determined what that is yet, right? And in addition to that, he found some tattoos on their side, one of them being greed and another one being sloth. Okay, and so far the team has encountered several others of these seven deadly sin characters. And then finally, of course, the word is on the street, or at least within the magic street, that the Metaras stone, which is a stone that contains quite a bit of power, is near completion. So kind of a gut punch for Ori, at least, who is recognizing that things are turning towards the worst. But then y'all finally decide, okay, that's you got some good information, got a couple of potions and items. Head back over to the refugee base, and there you meet up with Harbor, who is the leader of the rebels. From the manifest details, you let them know, hey, let me pull up my notes on the manifest details because there's quite a bit of things. And where is this? And I wrote this down. Sorry, give me 1 second. I believe the manifest details letting them know that you've got another village was razed to the ground, no bodies found. However, there's a trail of blood leading to a local temple, very similar to what you guys were encountering over in and I'm pulling up a lot of stuff right now. I'm blanking on some of these things. Over in Brawick. So that town that you saved over in Brawick, unfortunately another city fell to that particular fate. You also found out that the Prime Minister of Valtier, Eloise Auclair, she is holding a special hearing to address some concerns about the Tieflings and the recent Chimera attacks. And then also you've heard a rumor about a potential auction, a secret auction for Dragonborn artifacts, certain black market items that are of very high interest to Mikage. And so at this point, you've kind of decided where you guys want to go in terms of going to the auction or helping Harbor, who has asked you to take you to escort their group to Crimson Rock, which is where their hallowed grounds are for the Tieflings. Essentially, it's their sanctuary, right? And last we discussed, I believe that you were thinking about going to the auction first, if I recall
Yes,
correctly.
but we also neglected to mention who the informant was. We have a feeling that it might be his wife, Harbor's wife, thinking maybe she has some memory loss. However, I think his daughter also started with an F. Yeah?
Yes, that's true.
So
I think I got most of that, but not all of that.
We'll fill you in
Okay.
as
Okay.
it comes up.
I think most is generous.
That was quite a bit of exposition. I didn't expect to be talking
Yeah.
that much all at once. So, Sean, if you have a question, let us know. I will try and fill you in as
Okay.
best I can. But that's kind of where we are, all right? Does that sound about right? Does anybody have anything else they want to add to that?
I think we were planning on going to the Dragon Market, accompanying them partway, I believe, and then I know Ori really wants to get to the capital in Voltier to hear the Prime Minister's address.
mhm.
So I
Okay.
believe that was our
So
first draft plan.
So first the auction, then helping Harbor and his people get to the promised land, and then going from there onward, ideally, in some form of.
Yeah, we would get them. I think we were talking about getting them to like the edge of the city and the inhabited places so that they can kind of take the rest on their own, because we wouldn't make it if we went all the way to Crimson Rock. We wouldn't make it back to the capital in time.
Mhm.
I think that's what we decided.
Yes. That sounds about right. Okay. I'm going to move everybody to the city now. And here we go. Turn a little mood music. Okay. I thought I would hear a little bit more mood music, but it's not going. There we go. Okay, so at this point right now, your group is at the footsteps of the librarian. If you recall that you spoke to the librarian, he was kind of your last lead in terms of mention of the words of an auction. Now, these rumors have trickled out that there are some Dragonborn artifacts. There's some things there. He even hinted at it a little bit as well when you first arrived, if you don't recall, mentioning things about, oh, this is when Dave bought a book of how to pick locks, and there were other details about different types of books that y'all were interested in. And for Mikage, she was very interested in a particular Dragonborn and dragon-related document scrolls, and he indicated to you that there might be something of interest in a particular auction. So right now, at this point, you stand at the entrance to the library. I'm sorry, to the bookstore. What do you do?
Mikage, take the lead.
I've donned a cloak just to kind of, since Dragonborns are a rarity in the area, I cloak. So I go into the bookstore, and is the bookkeep the one that I spoke to last?
Say that one more time, please.
Is the bookkeep that I spoke to last the one that I gave the extra gold to as we left just for new information? Is he occupied, or is he with a customer at the moment?
No, he's not occupied at the moment. He's there and he's available. He sees you and sees your hood, and he kind of recognizes a little bit of your figure and just kind of waves to acknowledge you.
I bob my head and go over to him, and I want to inquire if he's had, if he's heard of any new documentation that I might be interested in.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. I see that you are come back for more information about the dragon or dragonborn documents. Is that so?
That is it. That it is, good sir.
Well, I have word that tonight there is a particular auction that I mentioned from before. There are quite a few people going, but in order to get in, you need to have a certain caliber or a certain password or something to get in. I've never been myself, but I've heard that they don't just let anyone just waltz in there and do what they do.
What do you have to do to get this password? Is it a price to pay, or is it simply knowing the right people?
I wish I could tell you more, mademoiselle. I've never been myself. However, I have seen a few of my patrons that come in here. They are fans of Dragonborn paraphernalia and whatnot, and so I might be able to, for the right price, of course, get you some information on them, and what you do, how you see fit on talking to them or getting information, that is not of my concern.
I would like to see if I can. How much is he? How much would it take to get their ear?
Well, it depends how much do you have that you would like to know who they are.
While I don't have much in gold at the moment, I can always offer a favor. Is there something you would like in return for the ear? Or is gold the only thing that interests you?
A favor, eh? A favor. Well, if you can get in, I would like for you to swipe swipe is too strong a word. I'm sorry. I would like for you to procure something for me that is of value from said auction. Somehow, I would like to know that it is truly, something worthwhile that I would like to see for myself.
So it seems we both have something we're searching for. I think I can do that. I can have If it's something I can afford, I will be happy to exchange. I will be happy to bring that to you. However, I need to know what it is so I can make preparations.
If you see anything that is of a particular value, of a draconic history, is really what I'm looking for. Anything of that. That type of thing is very rare and fetches quite a price over here. So any money that you give is pales in comparison to if you could get something of value from the auction that I could then, sell to one of my patrons. That would be of great value. So, you find something worthwhile, let me know. But I feel
Okay.
that our goals are aligned in this. So, I will tell you. There is a particular club nearby. It houses many of the very affluent and powerful people in this town, and I've heard that a few of them they are fans of the draconic items in history. So I say that you go visit this club and see what you can find. It's over on the east side of town, and it is called the Blue Wave.
Mm. I thank you for your time. I'm gonna give him 5 gold for the information, and I'm going to let him know that I'll be happy to pass along some additional knowledge between the two of us.
Oh, merci, merci. I wish you luck, and I will see you hopefully sometime soon, and of course all in one piece too.
Here's hoping. I shuffle a little bit, and then is everyone else done shopping for books?
Yeah, we're good. Do you
Okay.
want?
Ori,
We're
to
good.
buy gold at the moment.
Hmm?
I think you had all the gold from.
I have a bunch of it, so I will give him 5 gold pieces.
He takes the gold and he smiles politely at you and bows very low and wishes you all the best of luck.
What did we get gold for? I don't even remember.
Couple
You
of things.
you got 2,000 gold for rescue or retrieving the manifest from Harbor.
Okay, that's what it was.
So the only thing is, I do want some of that gold in case we get separated. If we have to split up and do the auction.
That is true. How much do you want?
Just split it evenly.
Yeah,
So,
I think the easiest way. We'll have our gold and.
500 for each of you?
Mm-hmm. And if you want, I mean, I can do the 5 gold back, however you want to do
I'm gonna buy red dust.
it.
Oh god, please don't. It went so well last time.
Well, it went fine for Pan last time. Not so well.
A little rough on Dave.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Where's your houseplant?
It was
Um,
a one night stand.
I guess he's gone for a druid.
So at this point now, you have a location of this club. You also have some intel that some of their patrons, or rather, some of the people who like to participate in the auction, are at this club. What
I
would
should
y'all
have
like to
asked strippers here.
do? She asked for what now? I'm sorry.
I should have asked if there were strippers at this club.
You did. The feeling that you got from him was that this was like a high-end club that seemed to mainly cater to those who are very affluent and rich. So not the
not
other,
assless rats.
not assless chaps. No, they might have
Okay.
them. It's not that they can't afford them, but they might choose not to wear them. That's all.
They're too fancy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what information can we find out about the blue wave? Is there as like he said it was in the east side of town, correct?
Correct.
So, do we want to talk to the hot dog vendor?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll get some sausages.
Wait, so you're going to talk to a hot dog vendor, and you already have sausages? Is that right?
Well,
Do
no.
I?
Remember the
To
last
buy
time there-
sausage.
Oh, you want to buy sausages? Is that right? Or you? Okay, all right.
Get-
Just double checking. I
Get-
misheard that. Okay.
No trade.
the
Well, I might show him, some of mine in case,
oh,
This is like a show and tell type thing. It's like, oh, you show me your hot
Yeah,
dog, I'll show
yeah.
you mine, right?
Yeah, I mean, he might be curious.
Okay. Hot dog curious, or wiener curious is probably the better word for it, right? It might be wiener curious about it. Okay, fair enough.
connoisseur.
We're a wiener connoisseur. I like it. Okay.
You
As
know,
you-
like going to an art exhibit, like I also do art,
Yes.
Here's mine.
Okay.
It's all how you get, the length, the width, how you it is.
Quality.
Yeah, you're looking for quality meat. Anyway, so since we've digressed, do we see, smell the food? Because I know he was around here last.
You do. There's a particular hot dog vendor who is very familiar to you. He's sold you many sausages before. As he sees you four approaching, he kind of waves you down again and says, "Hey, you've come back. How's it going? Would you like to buy some hot dogs?"
Well. Yeah, no, here to get some more. Yeah, what you got?
We got the best in town, of course. Let's see. For you, my friend, we got a special one. This one is from a particular elk.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Okay.
Maybe.
Now, I did not
Okay.
kill this elk. The elk actually killed a boar, and the boar, as it did, threw up this rat, and from the rat, that's what we made the sausage out of. But still, it's a pretty crazy story. So,
No, it's not really an elk sausage. It's a rat sausage.
well,
It's a turkey.
the elk killed the boar, and the boar threw up the rat. So it's an elk
Albert.
elk
It's
barat,
adjacent.
elk barat. That's what I'm calling it.
That's such a great history behind it.
Ori is horrified and clutches Rathu in her coat.
Kagi just chomps on.
I never really asked where it comes from.
Albert.
You should know. You don't ask how the sausage is made. Of course, that's a newbie
Yeah.
mistake right there.
Well, I feel like the amount that I eat it, I should really start questioning.
For his health.
But I'll take some.
That's for you.
Interesting story aside, I'll take some.
Of course. He starts just heaping huge,
Wait, how much is
just
it?
plops of it. For you, my friend, 6 gold pieces, and he just starts piling it higher and higher. Like, I'll give you even extra too, and it's just a huge mound of, just
Can I try it? before?
suspicious-looking meat in a pile, and just hands it over to you. Like, of course, here, sticks 3-4 spoons in it, and then starts feeding it to each of you, as you're standing there, just
I
force
would
feeding.
like to. Can I take a dodge action?
Why don't you just
By
hand it
all
to
means.
Mikage? Just hand it to Mikage.
If you'd like to dodge, absolutely, go ahead and dodge. Go ahead, give me a
I
dodge
would
roll.
love to dodge.
Mikage, are you gonna eat this suspicious
Hell
meat? Yes. All right. Hands it over to you. Oh,
Sure.
that was fun. So you try to dodge out of the way, but instead he gets you in the cheek and then just slides it over into your mouth. So now you've got it not only in your mouth but also across your face as well too.
Ori's gonna go.
I mean, does it taste bad? Does it taste just like rat?
As far as you can tell, it tastes like an Oscar Mayer wiener. Okay. Now I don't know what's in an Oscar Mayer wiener, and I am not saying anything about that. I'm just saying that this particular food
I wouldn't ask.
tastes just like an Oscar Mayer wiener.
Sir, do you have any napkins?
Of course. So he starts taking it. He takes out and he blots your face and he starts cleaning you as he does too.
Is it effective?
Oh, it's very effective. He's also very affectionate
Okay,
about it as well too.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
So what brings you
Hey,
folks out here? I haven't seen you guys in a while.
Heard of a place called the Blue Wave? I hear it's a fancy club.
Oh, Blue Wave, those snooty types over there. Yeah, I heard of it.
Tell us about it.
Yeah.
Well, it's only the most posh of people in Adelaide. You know, your humble elk barat dealer is not going to be able to get in there, of course. It's a tough club, but really what they're throwing around is money, is what they're saying, what I'm saying.
So they appreciate the finer things in life. Food, drinks. Do they have a preference for wine dealers and chefs?
All of the
Maybe
above. All of the above.
tequila marketers.
If you
I
got
know
something
I-
you're slinging and it's gonna make them money, then by all means, like they will lend you an ear. I have tried to market them and pitch them on my brilliant idea, but these sharks would not even have it, so they kicked me out.
What brilliant idea. The sausages or?
Well, let me tell you the one. There's another elk story, okay? And so this elk speared an alligator, and the alligator spit out an otter. And so this was this amazing, and you guys haven't even had this one yet, okay? Now I'm all out right now, but this is my elk gator ot meat that is by far one of my best sellers. Unfortunately, I'm all out, but these snooty people didn't even have the time, the wherewithal to try this delicacy that I've been working on. It is a family secret. And they just kicked me out.
I think it's not a problem with your sausage. It's a PR problem. And maybe we can be the people to bring it to them. We'll start with this giant heap of sausage that you just gave us.
I like the way you think. See, I knew we would be friends. I knew that this would work out.
So let's see what we can do. Is there anyone particular you dealt with in the past we should be wary about? More of in the stance of if we're talking to them, we of course need to know the best way to dialogue.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, and this is me just you know, being being introspective about it. If I recall correctly, I think quite a few of them were vegetarian. So I'm wondering if this is why it didn't work out all that well for me.
No, that's fair.
No,
Fair
you know what? I don't think that. I don't think that's it. I'm just speaking out loud here. But if you want to go talk to somebody, there is someone inside who I do know is a fan of the meats that I sell. He is how do you say? He's elf-ish. At least he's got the pointy ears. I can't quite tell. I can't quite tell them all apart. But he's an elfish person. And he seems to really enjoy eating the hot dogs that I sell and all different types of meat. So perhaps you might be able to, pitch him on it. He might be able to help you out.
Do you remember his name? Elfish only gets us about a quarter of the city.
His name was Vansel. Vansel, if I remember correctly.
All right. That's very helpful. Thank you.
No problem. You let me know if you want to buy some more. I can sell this to you guys at wholesale price. Okay, and once I get some more of my elk gatot meat, then I will definitely give you a call. And we can start marketing this thing. It's going to be huge. Every house is going to have it.
We'll come back.
Make it sound a little fancier, a little more elvish, I guess.
I'll leave the marketing up to you guys. I'm just the meat guy, I'm just the muscle that gets this thing done.
We gotcha. We know where to find you.
By the way, did we catch his name prior? We better get his name.
Who, Vansel?
Right now.
Oh, my name?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my name's well, nobody's ever asked me. They just call me the hot dog guy. It's kind of funny, right? Nobody ever asked me my name.
Everyone knows who you are, so that always.
You're the hot dog guy.
Dog guy. But the name's Chappie. If you want to really know, the name's Chappie. That's what my mom called me. But nobody ever asked me that name before. So
So I'm gonna take one more. This is the elf rat, and I'm gonna be like, "All right, we'll see you later, Chappie." As we leave, I need energy from like expending all that fight yesterday.
I'm just gonna pat him on the shoulder. See
He
you
gives
later,
you-
Cappy.
he gives you a big hug and then just cries a little bit into your shoulder as well too.
It happens so much. Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
What would y'all like to do?
We might need to make sure our clothes are as nice as possible. To go in no matter what ploy we use. They will definitely. I mean, there might even be a dress code. So.
So we may want to get closer. We're okay. Are there any shops near the Blue Wave? Like clothing shops?
Around the Blue Wave, the area that they've pointed you to, there's a lot. It's nearby a port, essentially. So the east side of town, as you can see on the map, is the entryway of where the river is, or rather, the ocean. So there's a lot of nautical-themed shops and items and things of that nature. Anything related to for sailors, captains, that type of thing.
And the area that we're in is more the commerce shops, dress shops, book shops, things like that.
That's correct. Yes.
So we either need to rob somebody or we gotta cough up to get at least one or two night outfit, especially the girls, I'm assuming.
I was gonna
Or-
say, my stuff is pretty nice to begin with.
Oh.
So we really just need, honestly, one nice piece really makes an outfit. So
Fair. I am probably in a bunch of tattered stuff, not like bare bones, but definitely worn, definitely more function versus fancy. So,
let's go get Mikage something with less than 10 pockets.
and though I do like pockets, I'll just have to change back into something afterward.
Exactly.
But
The fewer pockets, the higher the fashion.
and does Dave have on real pants at this point?
Are they still assless chaps?
Well, I wasn't here last session, but assuming I'm like in public and
That means nothing.
Loincloth.
that's fair. That's fair.
I think he took off the assless chaps when we got back after the clubbing.
Okay.
So, but they're in the bag. They're in my bag.
Yeah, I think I've got a cowboy hat on right now.
He does. He still has his cowboy hat on.
That's pretty classy. How about you, Pan?
Is
What are you doing?
Is my typical monk attire not acceptable for this? And that people know I'm a monk.
I think that's fine. I think you're
I
fine.
have disguise kit too. I can dress up as fancy pants with a monocle.
Is that what you would like to do? That's totally up to
That
you.
is what I would like to do.
All right.
Like
You
a
want to just
monocle.
keep your monk's clothes on and just put on a monocle?
Just okay.
I mean, way
Sophisticated.
back when we were with William, didn't he give us some fancy clothes? That we
That's
all really
true.
wore?
He did give you some. That is true. You guys do have some fancy
They
clothes
might
from
still be in
Quellian.
my
Yes.
bag.
Okay. Then
So does everybody get fancy clothes, and you just want to give the monocle to Mikage? Then?
All right. We can give it the monocle.
they probably have it because I think the last time was I with them for that when they gave the fancy clothes. I was prior to me.
No,
joining
that
the
was
party.
prior. That was prior.
We still
Okay.
need for you.
So I just Mikage because I think I don't know how well a monocle is gonna do for
I
long.
think that Pan should keep the monocle.
All right, I'll keep the monocle.
He'll be up with a monocle.
We just need to get you something that's, stitched rather than torn.
Though, can it have pockets? I need some pockets.
At least two. We'll find one with two pockets.
at least. Okay.
Okay. So you head over to the east side of town. Of course, as you look, you see a sign for the Blue Wave Club. It seems to be emblazoned in gold. There's a very fancy, ornate door standing in front of you. It has a haughty air. It's like as you approach it, it even feels like it's very posh and very snooty. Right next door, though, however, there is a fine clothes store that seems to be selling all assortment of different, like I said, sailor and nautical themed outfits.
Sailor outfits. You know,
Okay.
if we can get you a nice blouse and some safety pins, I got this for you. We can do this.
Is require me being in knee-high leather boots?
Depends on if we find any.
All right, we just need to make sure I look classy. All right.
Yes.
So are we going for the sailor outfit or okay. Okay.
Let's say, for the sake of expediency, that whatever outfit you decide on that you want to get,
Does
the
it,
the store can provide you. Okay.
okay.
In this case, so if you guys want to go with this, that type of thing, that's cool. It's up to you.
Want like a
Well,
3-piece suit with lots of pockets and a monocle.
Is that for you, Pan, or is that?
No, for her.
I was gonna say, Pan's wearing the stuff that he got as a Make-A-Wish child.
Yeah,
Playing
my
pan flute.
the artist formerly known as the flautist.
Yeah, that's good. So if we all look nice, do we go in?
Do they have any not something that borders on like military dress?
Like military type gear or outfits? Is that what you mean?
No, the nautical military, like think like old time British Navy, something like looks prestigious, got a lot of like stitching, something that could be mistaken for something somewhat official.
Yes, they would have some things like that. You're not gonna see all the badges, but it's definitely tassels, like just tassels everywhere. So yes, they would have something
Tassels.
like
We can always use this in the strip club later. Great.
that. Yep. So, you're all decked out now, Mikage. You are wearing a naval regalia with tassels all over you, and you're all set to go.
Okay.
Here's the question.
Oh, and I'm polishing nails.
Yes.
Sorry.
Are we going in with the tequila salesman shtick or something like that? The meat salesman, whatever. I know we're gonna go find that guy, but Ori's actually used to these kind of posh clubs in Voltier. And though she is wearing slightly less nice things than she's used to, I mean, she has like been to these kind of things before. So are we taking the standard Voltier socialite, or are we going with a marketing shtick?
We can all. I was figuring kind of still go with the marketing stuff to kind of get in the front door. Maybe we can talk to Vansel about supplementing their regular inventory with specialty items, not specialty delicacies, seasonal things, something that's more trendy.
Some
delicious.
some Elgator tartar.
Mm-hmm.
I-
And
I could disguise myself as like a naval commander, get a lot of, things, I don't know if they're not medals, they're stripes, and
Kind of like
a
your
rope
dress.
thingy, and like, tassels on the side of,
Like that?
like that, yeah. You guys
I
can't
can't
see
see
it,
it.
but it's me in French military garb.
Go get it. Go get it.
Get it off my wall. No, it just rotates.
Oh, we don't.
Oh, I have seen it. The picture of you. We have seen it.
I have it memorized, Sean. I know exactly what it looks like.
Okay.
Okay.
I think about it every night.
Yeah, exactly. Same. So that he wants to find something like that, so that we can have a 50% military party to lend some, credence to us.
But I figure also, because I do have some like documentation and stuff that I've collected over time. I've always like as I've collected articles and uh, draconic information, I've always kept a backup in a notebook that I keep with me. But I have a few documentation, so if we can get in the door and maybe we can uh find out who is attending uh the sale, the auction, and kind of see if we can get our way in with them. But first is getting in the door and getting introduced to the people there. And as a trader, I'm gonna fudge my way as like a trader, like on the side coming in from, outside the city.
All right. Let's see if we can get in then.
Knock on wood.
As you enter into the blue wave, you are greeted at the front by a doorman. He's a very hot, like large, bulky bouncer. He looks down at you through jet black glasses. What are you doing? What do you want?
We're here for the club, of course.
Do you know anybody inside?
Vansel. We're here to see Vansel.
And what business do you have with Vansel?
Just some new business opportunities.
He kind of flips through his charts and his papers. I don't see anything on the calendar about any business with Vansel.
These are new opportunities, ones that we will also be discussing with the head chef here. I suggest if you give me your name, after we talk to the head chef, maybe I can have you assist, as a promotion.
You see his ears twitch a little when you mention the word promotion. However, at the same time, he still looks coldly at you and doesn't say a word.
Why don't you call Vansel? Tell him that Chappie sent us.
He turns his head, whispers something into a microphone, and he kind of just waits for a bit. And he stares back coldly at you.
I maintain aggressive eye contact.
Roll an intimidation check.
Okay. God. Not prepared for this.
I want to look around and see if there's any roof way in or something like that, windows, some shit like that, or distraction ability to distraction, something like that.
You look above you, Pan, and you see a gargoyle statue hanging right above. It's in the shape, it has a head of a falcon. It's got the body of a fish, but it also has wings and it has sharp talons, like an eagle. You can see that the roof is probably about 3 stories high above you or so. It is a flat top roof. And there seems to be windows up on the up at the top over there too. For Ori, as he stares you down, you see a bead of sweat slowly go down his forehead, just a little bit. All right.
Yes. I'm pleased with this.
You see him kind of turn his head, and he like checks his microphone. Says, "Mm-hmm. Vanzel's interested to hear what you have to say. Come on in." He opens the door, and he lets you inside.
We're in.
As you enter in, you're hit by a wave of cigar smoke. The smell of tobacco fills your noses. A certain ashy fogginess kind of burns at your eyes a little bit too. However, at the same time, you see couches and seats just lined around you in arrays, just covered in velvet and satin. Tables abound with very, wealthy-looking people of all mixes of different types, of races. Ages abound, and it's just everybody seems to be drinking, talking business, smoking cigars, and just enjoying themselves. You see a gentleman in the back, with pointy ears, longish silver hair. He looks somewhat tall. He stands up and he motions for you to come on over to him.
We go. Most definitely.
Did Pan get the red dust?
I'm just keeping my eyes peeled for a dealer.
As you make your way through, some people kind of stop to pay attention to you, as you are somewhat new faces or so. Pan, roll a perception check for me. Oh. You look around and you see several tables kind of look at you and they kind of glare a little bit. Some of them, they're shuffling some things around too. They kind of, they eye you suspiciously as you look around the room.
And what did you do?
As you approach the table, an assistant comes up to you and says, "I am the assistant to Sir Vansel, and he is intrigued by your offer. He is familiar with your friend Chappie, the hot dog salesman. He likes to know what business you have with him."
Well, we have a lot of things in common with him, one of which are several new potential menu items that Chappie would love Vansel's opinions on. But we also have, we've heard many interests in common, so we'd like to know what opportunities we can give him in addition to the ones from Chappie.
Mr. Vansel's schedule is quite busy, and so you're really going to have to convince me first if you would like to talk to Mr. Vansel. So, here, let's hear it now. What's your pitch?
I would like to glance behind her. What is he doing?
He's sitting in a chair right now, sipping a Chardonnay, just kind of leaning back, just kind of rocking back and forth.
Very busy, yes.
He's very busy.
Great. Anyone want to take a crack at it?
So, in addition to the savory treats of Mr. Chappie and the delicacies that he can provide, I think we could provide a unique wine experience in addition. I see your friend likes the Chardonnay. We have a few additional drinks that we can provide to kind of to refine taste.
We also have knowledge, as you can see, my colleague here is a Dragonborn, and she brings knowledge of some draconic winemaking techniques. Maybe he would like to hear about that.
This shop. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, do they look like they're interested in drugs at all? That's right.
Pan, go ahead, roll another perception check.
Do we have any? Or we used it all up though, right? We don't have any more of
We
that
did.
left. Damn.
I think you gave what you used one bag, and then what happened to the other bag again? I'm trying to
We
remember.
gave it to Taurus.
Yeah.
You did give it to Taurus. Yeah, that's right.
I guess it doesn't matter anyways. Womp.
You look at them, and from the looks of it, Pan, everybody looks like they're coked out, right? So it's hard to tell whether they're just, high on their horse or coked out. It's hard to tell, and especially in this thick fog of like cigar smoke, and everybody is it's difficult to tell. The assistant looks at you and is like, Mr. Vansel's glass of Chardonnay right now is about $500 a glass. So if you've got something that's of equal caliber greater, then by all means, we'd love to hear it.
Back in our stocks, we do have a nice 2nd century Chateauneuf du Pape that he might be interested in, coming from the late emperor of that period as well. It's private stocks.
That does sound intriguing. Give me a deception roll.
Okay.
While she's got Mikage, what are you doing right now? Oh, very nice.
At nat 20 with a +7 in charisma.
+7. Before I get to that, Mikage, you look around the room. As you're surveilling, you see several people kind of eyeing you up and down. They are intrigued because, of course, they don't see very many Dragonborn, and so you notice them glancing and holding their gaze at you for a while.
Let's see. I would like to flash a pin that I have on my front jacket that is rimmed, which has a draconic scale dangling from it. And just flash it.
As they see you flash that scale, you see their eyes, their eyebrows rise. You see their eye, like their pupils dilate a little bit as they're like, ooh, what's that? The assistant goes over to Mr. Vansel, whispers in his ear, and you see him rise up from his chair. He walks over to you.
I bow my head and shift my wings as if to kind of curtsy and straighten back up, but remain silent, waiting for them to speak.
He approaches the four of you. You've gotten my assistant's attention, and now you've gotten mine. What's this business proposal that you have? What's this fine wine you speak of?
Many interests.
Hold on, miss.
First the wine.
I know you can speak. And I see you've got quite a few business associates with you.
Yes. They have more details.
I'd like to hear it from you. And he points over at Dave. You seem like a very knowledgeable person. Let's see what you have to say.
Looks to be deceiving.
Another man has a crush on you.
Let's hope you can use that for advantage.
Well, we have a fine selection of fine wines and meats from across the empire.
I was bluffing on that.
Okay. Really, Ori is the, it can give you the nitty-gritty details. I'm more of the big pictures kind of guy, and it is a pretty good wine.
How do you know fine meat?
What's that?
He's more of the meat department.
Well, yes, I do.
Mm,
I am more of a meat guy.
Meat.
Yeah,
Fine culinary prowess.
Yeah.
the beefcake.
Tell me a bit about these meats you speak of.
Yeah. So we have you know, hunters surveying the land for rare and exotic meats that share a very unique story. Things that you can't get from, a farm, let's say. This is elk that had pig that was that ate a mouse, and it's a sort of taste you can't get anywhere else. A good taste, if and while that doesn't sound appetizing at first, what
It's a sophisticated palate.
yeah, exactly.
We have
And then
samples.
get otter.
Let's not talk to you anymore. Okay, let's talk. You, the tall one, the tall one there. You've been quiet. What can you tell me about these wares?
Like dogs hunt for truffles. You can't buy a truffle in the farm-raised truffle because it doesn't exist. You can't buy this meat anywhere else because nowhere else does it exist. That's what I'm trying to get around. But by all means, talk to my friend.
But before I get to Pan, Dave, give me a persuasion roll. This is gonna be either. Oh. Oh, okay.
It's like the truffles.
As soon as you finish saying your words, and as he's moving on, you see him just like retch a little bit in his stomach, like, okay, let's move on. You, the tall one, you've been quite quiet. How do you fit into this whole entire operation?
I'm just a bodyguard. I have little to no knowledge. I grew up on an island. I have little to no knowledge of meat procurement and wine. I don't even know what you call it. Distilling? Is that what they do with wine? No, that's alcohol. I don't know what you would say for wine. Anyways, I just give social advice and provide.
And who are you protecting them from?
You don't know how risky a business it is to get this meat. Lots of or the vagrants off the street trying to rob our wagons.
You see him throw up a little bit more in his stomach. He's like, that's good to know.
It doesn't taste to me because he's friends with the sausage guy, and we got the meat from the sausage guy, so he probably knows.
He'll recognize it. He's not drunk enough yet.
Yep.
He's not ready for it.
And you, the dragon lady, how do you fit into this operation?
My name is Naval, and I procure trade secrets from the Dragonborn, like wines and stuff that they do not share with any. So I have a niche market, hoping to expand business. However, I am always in the market for knowledge. So even if you can't provide me with the gold that I'm looking for, maybe you can provide me with information. By the way, my level 8, I took on actor. I get a +1 charisma, and I have advantage on deception and performance checks when trying to put myself off as a different person. I can mimic the speech of another person or the sounds made by other creatures that I have heard for at least a minute.
Well, you've definitely been talking for at least a minute, so that's good. So do you want to sound like Dave, or do you want to sound like
No. I'm passing myself off as another person, this Naval.
I'm just kidding. Okay.
Later on, I may sound like Dan or Pan or Ori.
He strokes his chin a little bit. He's like, I'll be quite frank. Your story is just titillating. I really couldn't care less about the meat or the wine. But the fact that you've come in here shows me you've got gumption and balls, and that's always fun, you know? You don't meet too many people like that nowadays, so...
And wings.
And wings, of course, too, so that's a treat. So, what are you really here for?
Knowledge. What we're all here for.
What kind of knowledge are you looking for, Naval?
I said, I am looking for knowledge of dragons and their secrets. I hear there's an auction going to be coming soon. I was wondering if anyone else has knowledge of this. I have documents that I have procured over my travels. I may be persuaded to pass on some of the information, provided we have an opportunity to partake in this auction that's coming up.
I like your pizzazz about this. Now, I'm not normally one to divulge this type of thing, but you four have really just given me quite the quite the laugh in all this. I'll tell you what, I know what you seek, and I'll give you the clue. But I must ask, since we all know Chappie here, do you have any of his meat that you're speaking of?
I pull out a to-go bag.
Do we now? Oh, yes.
He says he has a particularly rare combination coming up soon.
You should try it.
No, I got it. Thank you very much, half-barbarian fellow. I've got an idea of what's inside already. But there's quite a few people here that, quite frankly, I just hate, honestly. So it would give me great pleasure if I could, slip a little bit of that into their, vegetarian meals or something like that. Just a little something I'll do. If you wouldn't mind letting me have that meat, I'll be happy to give you the information you need to get into the auction.
I hand over the items to
Well,
That-
some of it.
Yeah, some of it. We
Yeah.
had to keep a little.
Maybe
I'm here. You want to keep some? Okay.
Yeah, I'll keep some.
you
Okay.
may want to consider working out a deal with Chappie to get a periodic supply, so you can always refine their palates, if you know what I mean.
Chappie and I have our own arrangement. We're good friends. I was just messing. But I will take some. He takes the meat, hands it over to his assistant, and she kind of shuffles off. You kind of just see her go into the shadows. A few moments later, you see a couple waiters walk out with silver trays and a large silver dome covering them. They bring them over to several people. As you see them unfurl the food, it's a large salad plate with a sprinkling of what you can tell is that particular meat. And the patrons, not even thinking about it, they just start digging in and just eating. And you see them just kind of revulse a little bit, but they try to hold it in, and in the company that they're with, just to hold their composure. And as you look over at Vansel, he kind of just starts chuckling to himself, laughing. Okay. I appreciate that very much. As you wish, as I promised. To get into the auction is happening tonight. It's happening over at the Fisherman's Wharf. Once you get inside, the password is Goliath Grouper. It should get you in. They won't ask any questions. If you come dressed like that, it's probably good enough. There's quite a bit of rowdy people there too, so you'll fit right in.
Good to know.
We thank you for your time and consideration, good sir. I am in your...
We'll talk later. And then he shoos you off. His assistant walks you out. Just like that, they kind of kick you out of the club. And that is that.
Apparently, we are not classy enough to at this point.
When we are selling essentially rat meat and non-existent wine, yeah, I expect that.
Well, it's elk meat that ate a pig that ate a rat.
I thought it was the meat of the rat. That was
No.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was the meat of the rat too.
I thought it was the meat of the rat. That's why I was like, this is the most...
All three of it together.
No,
I thought it was like a...
Wait, where does the elk fit in?
Because he
He said he just ate the animal
he ate
that spat
the
out.
thing that ate the rat. And so it's like, it was in an elk at one point in time.
Oh, okay.
So it's elk meat, but it contains mostly other. As far as the meat goes. The story.
Oh yeah, I
It's
thought it
very-
like spat it out or something. I maybe made that up in my head because I thought it was hilarious.
I heard the name.
Well, he called it an elk sausage, so...
But I heard the word regurgitated in there a couple times.
So the story is that the elk speared a boar, and then the boar threw up, and then what the boar threw up was a rat, and so that's what you're eating, essentially. Yeah.
So it's rat meat.
So it's rat meat. Yeah.
Wait, but a single rat can't make that many sausages.
A dire rat, though.
It's mixing with a lot of other
rat.
stuff. These boars, they eat quite a bit, so it's a mixture of things. Okay.
Probably multiple rats.
It could be multiple rats. Yeah, that's true too. So, you've got the information you need now to at least get into the Fisherman's. Fisherman's Hall, not Fisherman's Wharf. Fisherman's Hall. What would y'all like to do?
I think we should go.
We should go.
Not waste any more time.
All right. I'm gonna send y'all there. There we go.
I'm still wearing the same thing as before. I'm gonna not worry about changing costume.
Yeah, same.
Okay. You arrive to the entrance. As you enter in, you give them password, and just like that, the front man kind of just like lets you in the door. As you enter in, you see a huge hallway surrounded by mysterious crystals, beaming lights. It has setting a mood of different just ambiance colors going off. Smells of like lilac and saffron hit your senses as you look around and you see several clientele all dressed up in like very fancy outfits. The type of thing that you would see at like a red carpet event. And then suddenly, just like that, a wafting smell of BO and lime, and hits you as well too. As you look and you see several pirate type characters and seedy underworld types kind of walk by as well. So it's a huge mix. Just like I said, it's a huge mix of just different types of characters, all seeking fortunes and different, artifacts and that type of thing. You look around you, and of course, there are several people, all just scattered about. They haven't begun the auction yet. However, there are groups of people just kind of talking, and you're free to, ask me any questions about people around you, what you'd like to do, what's your strategy going in.
I want to see, is there like what do you call the person that, like, the auction, like, what's like they have like a list, or like these things are going to be on it
Mm-hmm.
type thing. I want to look for that.
Okay.
Or look around for that.
Was that Mikage? I'm going to tell you in just one pan. Was that Mikage?
An auctioneer's list?
Yeah. Over at the front of the hall, you see a tall, almost like half giant individual. He's the one holding the half skull and the lantern there. And right next to him is a list of items that are describing these different things that are going to be on the auction list.
Anything I recognize? 'Cause I've been around fancy things before.
You look over, and unfortunately for you, you don't. It's hard to tell. There are certain words in there in certain dialects and languages that are somewhat foreign to you.
Is there like an auction staff nearby, or like, well, maybe I want to see if I can walk. I want to like walk here, try to find out what, like, I think we should try to find out what like the big ticket items are, see what people are gonna bid on. So like, I don't know if we should do that by eavesdropping or talking to random people, or like just asking somebody that works there or something like that.
You see
Can we
several. Go ahead. Sorry.
On the list, before we walk away from it, is what are the languages on the. What are some of the words? Are they not what are they, but what languages would they be part of?
There are a few that are in Orcish, but there are quite a few on there that are actually in Draconic. And as you
Can
look,
I
yes, Mikage, as you look and you read some of them, they kind of pique your interest. A few of them are, you recognize them as ancient tomes, telling histories of stories from way back. So that's a few of the items. You also see a couple of weapons on there as well too. A few orbs. Some of the Orcish ones are more. Those are more of the weapons that are attached to certain infamous orcs that have attacked the lands, and so there's quite a bit of story describing them. And at the very bottom, though, is a big. It's blank except for just question mark, question mark, question mark. It's just a lot of question marks on but also written very boldly, saying like, "Hey, stay for this item right here."
mystery item?
Correct.
How many tome?
There are 4 tomes, and for Pan there are several. I don't call them servants, but there's some waiters walking around with hors d'oeuvres and drinks like wine glasses. You've got a couple other people setting up the chairs, putting them around, and getting the auction ready.
Well, I just want to grab a snack and start walking around then.
Okay.
Do they have a display area for the auctioned items? Obviously, they're not going to have the mystery one out, but sometimes auctions will basically tease the item before they then get it out into the like for the auction up for auction. So
You talking about the tomes, or you talking about the mystery item?
no, I'm assuming the mystery item is hidden. The tomes, are they out on display? Because like I said, like partially unraveled,
or are they just hidden away, boxed up, and labeled, this is item X, Y, Z?
It's the latter right now. You don't see any items out on display. However, you do see just a large groupings of people, like the pirates and the cutthroat people over on this side. You see some of the very nicely dressed people on the other side as you walk around.
All right,
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna listen to see who would be interested in the dragonic tones. I'm keeping an eye out for that. Sorry, I'll let other people talk. Yeah.
Okay. There's a gong that goes off. One of the staff stands up and lets everybody know. The auction will begin in 15 minutes. Please take your seats. Crowds start to form and they start taking seats, sitting around in a half circle so that everybody can kind of see who else is going. They start handing out little paddles for everyone, with your number, that what order that you came in on. And everybody starts taking their seat.
What are our numbers?
Your numbers are 34, 35, 36, and 37. As you take your seats, you look across this semicircle and a familiar face peers back at you.
Is it the cobalt?
No.
Okay.
The person stands up, raises his hands, and immediately you recognize him. It is Quellion Foramon from way back when. He stands up and he's like, "My friends, I have not seen you in ages. The auction is about to begin, but oh my goodness, this is such a surprise. What are you doing here?"
We're visiting. We're going to visit the capital, and we've taken lots of stops along the way. What are you doing here?
Oh, as you know, I have always fancied the fancy things in life, as you recall, and I'm here to pick up some more of them at whatever cost I can get.
Also, this is our friend. Her name is Mikage.
Oh, Mikage, very pleased to meet you. He takes your hand and then he bows down, kisses the top of your hand.
I spread my wings, curtsy as I've been doing, and bob my head.
A woman of class, I see. Well, let us catch up in the intermission. I am very intrigued by this mystery item. So let's catch up. I'm sitting over here, but I'll come back and chat with you a bit. They're just about to start, and so I'd love to hear your tales of where you've been and what you've done. And it's so good to see you. And then he goes back to where he's sitting. There's quite an entourage sitting around him as well. And they started up. Do you guys want to fill in Mikage about how you know Quellion?
So remember when we said that Pan was once a pan flautist as a fake Make-A-Wish kid? It was Qualion's concert that we were at. We stole a violin. Was it a violin for him?
A lute.
A lute. We stole a lute for him to prove that we were, cool and stuff. And then he led us into a special party for the Archbishop. Bad dude. And Pan played while Dave went to, I think what was the dwarf equivalent of Gordon Ramsay with his sausages. And I counseled a guard on his marriage problems with my charm person. And we then jumped out a window.
I've heard about the window incident. So
Yeah,
that was
This
that's
was
what
that
we
thing.
okay.
This is the guy. He's a famous musician.
He's the one who got you into the shindig that you had to jump out the window for.
He never saw us again after that. This is the first time he's seeing us after this.
Good to know, a fellow
Procure.
You know, when we talk about it, it makes sense. But when we're like recapping about it, it's like it's pretty batshit crazy. You know what I mean?
So batshit crazy.
It's like, don't you remember that time that we like broke into the Archbishop's, party, and then like we were talking to the dwarf and Gordon Ramsay? You know what I'm talking about? Of course, that's exactly how it goes. Okay. The auction begins, and they start picking up items one by one. The first one goes up, and it is an orcish warhammer. The auctioneer, the first one, he stands up. He's the tall gentleman in the very front in this picture. He goes, "My name is Falco. As you all know the rules, I shall begin the bidding. I shall read the item. You have your paddles to indicate your interest in this particular item that we have for sale. There shall be no ifs, ands, or buts about the final sale. If you are to argue, you will be thrown out. Once you have purchased your item, head to the back. There you'll be given special instructions to procure your item. Do you understand?" The first item for bid is Bugslayer's Warhammer. He is a famous, not so famous anymore, but dead orc who slayed hundreds of elves, but also hated bugs. And so this is his axe that he brought with him into every battle, stained with the blood of his enemies. The bidding shall begin at 5 gold pieces.
I'll put 5.
I have 5. Another paddle goes up. 10 gold pieces now.
I'll do 15.
I see 15. Another paddle goes up. 20 gold pieces. Do I hear 25?
There will probably be more weapons.
Okay.
Just so you know.
There are a couple more bids that go up. The bid finalizes at about 45 gold pieces or so. The happy recipient walks over, does a little jaunt over to them. The staff proceed to whisper in his ear. He gives him the gold, and then he walks into a back door and kind of disappears for the night. You don't see him anymore. Several more items come by. Some of these are small trinkets. Some of them is like,
Are any
of Go ahead.
Fluent?
Say that again.
Are any of them of a draconic influence?
The next one is coming up right now. Yes. One comes up. We have for sale these 4 draconic tomes. They tell the history of the Dragonborn people. Now, this history has been lost to us of lay mentality. But whoever possesses these tomes shall have quite a good understanding of the fate of the Dragonborn. They say it's been held by a warlock locked away in a tomb for several hundred years. But we have a few treasure hunters among us. They've unearthed it. The bidding shall start at 100 gold pieces.
I want to see who raises their paddle first.
You see a few of the pirates raise their paddle up, some of the seedy folks. It goes from 100 to 125.
Okay, I'll put in.
Okay.
Let's do 150.
We have 150 from the Dragonborn herself. Do we have 175? A few more paddles
From-
go. One more paddle goes up for 175.
2.
You see a figure in the back, uh, wearing a hood, raises up their paddle. Oh, in the back, 250. Do I hear 275?
I flap my paddle.
Flap, do you mean like you say no, or you say you want it? You want it?
I want,
Okay.
and I want to see what I can. I'm gonna look back at who did the last bid and see is whatever detail I can see about them. Hold on.
As you look back at that individual, you just see a hood covering them. They seem to have a small frame, not quite large. However, their body is covered for the most part. They're wearing just a dark bourbon robe, essentially, or burgundy. I'm sorry, a burgundy colored robe. As they sit back,
Can I see if they're male or female?
you cannot. It is indescript as far as you can tell.
Okay.
The person sits
So-
back and they say, "Okay, bidding at 275. Anybody over? Going once, twice. Sold." Gets you the
Wait,
275
who won? She won? I want to go towards that dude.
for
I want to
Mikage.
just go like sneak around.
The one in the
behind him.
in the hood.
Yeah.
Okay.
And see if I can see anything from getting closer.
Okay.
Mikage, as you head up to go and do so, you hear a bell ring. Right, and as it does so, it's like, they call out, "This is intermission. Feel free to walk about. With the last winner, please come forward. You will be given your instructions shortly." So everybody stands up, and as they do so, you look over to see the hooded figure. And just like that, they're gone. You don't see where they went anymore. As you look around and peer around the crowd, there doesn't seem to be any indication of this person.
When I go to the front, I want to indicate that I want to continue bidding on other items.
If that is the case, then you can have your seat. Once you finish bidding for all your items, then you may come back to us and we will procure your money and you will be able to go back. And we will give you specific instructions on how to get the item.
I want to guarantee that you will not sell my item behind my back as I procure other items.
Miss, we are a fine establishment and we have a reputation to keep. So you have nothing to fear about your item being stolen from behind your back.
Let us make sure that is so. I
Oh, sorry.
I waddle back to the group.
What has Qualian been bidding on? Anything?
He hasn't been bidding on anything.
Okay.
He said he was interested mostly in the mystery item.
However, during this intermission, he heads over. You see him walk over to you now. He's got a gaggle of girls, right behind him. They're fawning over him. He shoos them away. He's like, "Please, please, give me a moment, ladies. Please, I need to talk to my friends." So, it has been quite an interesting auction so far, huh? I see you have won your first item. Congratulations. So tell me, my friends, where have you been? I mean, last we spoke, we were at the party, and afterwards some crazy shit went down, and then I did not see you again until after the city was burning, of course. So what are you doing here?
I'm glad you got out of the burning city.
Oh, of course. Well, let's just say once they found out that I was the ones that let you in, the Archbishop was not too happy with me. So I was not very welcome in that city for very long. But it is a shame what happened to them. But where did you go? What happened to you?
Well, a great many things. Um, Man, I don't even know where to start. And,
What have you been up to?
Yeah.
Well,
Did he know I really didn't have cancer? Or does he still think I have cancer? Or whatever.
We didn't tell him exactly what you were suffering from. Just that you were suffering.
he looks over your weight pan and is like, last I recall that you were dying, but you look quite good for a dead man. So it's good to see that you are still walking, my friend.
Well, we found a master alchemist who was able to cure my affliction.
Oh, well, that's good, very good to hear. As for me, of course they kicked me out of town, but it happens. It happens for a traveling musician. So I've been traveling all over the place, going from town to town, and performing my concerts, and all the while seeing what type of magical items that they have all around for us. And so my travels have brought me here over to Atamon, where we meet. But for the most part, it's a typical rock star life. I just go from one place, party hardy, go to the next place, party hardy, girls, boys, the whole shebang. It is how it is. Right?
Good for you.
I'm living my best life. What can I say? Huh?
Sounds fun. You say you've been to a lot of places. Have you heard anything interesting about, it was sad that the town was burned down. Pretty sure there was another town that was also burned down kind of like the similar way. Have you heard of any other, I don't know, crazy instances like that?
Oh, that is a tough one. That is a tough one, mademoiselle. As you can. It is. I like to stay. I like to stay merry and chipper, but this is a very tragic story indeed. This town seemed to have suffered the fate that was meant for Brawick long ago. It seems like, from what I've been told from my informants, none of the people they survived. Instead, there is just a bottomless hole, just a pit of blood. Or rather, I should say, there was a pit of blood. Now there is nothing there. It's just a big meteoric hole where the town was. Over 10,000 people there. I remember myself. I have performed there many times and was looking forward to going again. Lots of good people died. From what I've been told, whoever did this, they are nearly complete with whatever it is that they are doing. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it seems like they are getting close to whatever goal they are after right now. But word has it they're missing one piece. Something is missing from their recipe for disaster. I don't know, but something. They're missing one big thing, but I don't know what it is.
Thank you for sharing. I recommend that you start giving more concerts to the south.
Noted. You hear a gong go off and everybody starts sitting down again. The first one being this particular weapon and our final mystery weapon, which we know several of you are very interested in. This second last item is called the Dragon Slayer. And he pulls out this large two-handed sword. Its hilt is decorated in like twin vipers wrapped around it. The blade itself is probably about 4 to 5 feet long or so. On one side it's jagged, and on the other side one side is sharp while the other side is serrated, and at the very tip of it, you see the emblem of a dragon on it.
I mean, I can carry that around. It's 5 feet tall.
It's the size of me.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a big boy.
I guess so. But that is a very big sword.
That is a very big sword.
Did you say it was the last or second to last?
Second to last item. This particular sword was wielded by a great warrior, said to have taken down dragons. He was lost to time, but of course certain treasure hunters, which shall not be named, have found it and unearthed it for us, here for you today. Lost from a great king from long ago. It's here for you now. The bidding shall start at 250 gold.
I lean forward, but I don't bid on it.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that sword.
It's probably taller than me, so.
Yeah.
Several hands go up, and as they do, the price raises rapidly and goes all the way up to about 550 gold pieces before it starts to slow down. And just like that, one lucky bidder finally gets it for 700 gold pieces, and he squeals with delight. Goes up to the front, puts his bag of gold down, and then they usher him to the back, and he is gone.
Can, before he scuttles out the room,
What's that? Say that again?
can you describe the person who won the bid, the auction?
It is a halfling, very short in stature. Quite small, actually. So they are, they're dressed in quite elegant attire. They seem to have a lot of tassels on their clothes as well too. It seems like lots of chains, and they seem to be wearing some official attire.
Okay.
We should be keeping tabs on all these people that buy these things so that we can steal it later.
Yeah, we need to jump in.
Yeah.
Fair.
Falco, the auctioneer, finally announces.
Fire.
Gets
Later.
ready for the last one.
Okay.
As you've all been expecting, we have quite the final item for you. Funny enough, this one is actually related to the last item. That he who wielded the Dragon Slayer's sword also used his sword to cut off this individual's hand. Legend had it from way back when, that an ancient demon came to our world to try to take over. But the king then, wielding the Dragon Slayer sword, used it to cut off this. And he reveals, encased in glass, a decrepit skeletal hand. The Hand of Babel.
I sit up, I cross my legs. Who's sitting to my right directly?
Pan.
Okay. I put my hand around Pan's back, and I kind of kick up, and I'm like, hey guys. So, yeah.
Ori's eyes are about this wide.
The bidding shall start at 500 gold pieces. Oh, a lot of hands start going up immediately. 500 starts going up even faster. 600, 700 gold pieces.
Ori bid for all of us.
I got it.
800 gold pieces. It keeps on going up. At this point right now, it's reaching over 1,000 gold pieces. You have several hands going up. Quellian himself is also bidding actively as well, too.
I can't afford it, we're gonna steal it. Actually, I gave both of y'all and now Sean 500 gold pieces.
Okay.
Right?
Well, yeah, you have whatever leftover gold that I have.
I think we have technically around 3,000. Am I? is
When
right?
I added the 500,
Well, you got
One-
2 platinum.
yeah,
Oh, that's
what?
right.
That's
How
it.
many?
I
How
have
many?
way more than that. Why is it only 2? I have like way more than 2 platinum.
You have way more than 2 platinum.
You should have
Yeah,
more than
it's
2
only
platinum.
it's only 10, right? 10
Yeah.
gold or something. Yeah,
Um,
I have 110 platinum and a ruby.
Ew.
I think you
so
traded
I-
in the ruby though. It was worth
Ah.
1,000, so then you got 500 gold pieces. But then keep in mind that you also, yeah, and then you also bought
Oh
some
wait, yeah, I
bags of red
traded the
dust too.
ruby. Yeah, I traded the ruby and then I just got 500 more. So that's probably
I
why I
thought
have more.
platinum was like 1,000 gold pieces.
It's 10 gold pieces.
It's 10.
So then I only have 2 in my sheet. I'm pretty sure I have much more than that. So I was a rich bitch that came here.
Well, 500 is 50.
500.
500 gold is 50 plat.
Okay. Yeah, I've not been keeping track correctly, but you know, we will fix that.
Either way, I can chip in for this thing, or we can jump the guy.
I mean, if we can't afford it, we're gonna jump him. So I want to say we have probably.
Oh, sorry. As I take notes of who's buying this shit.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like all the hands are going up at this point right now. So the price is escalating very quickly. It's going up
Let's
now.
see how far we can take it.
It goes up from
You know what,
1,000 to 1,000,
I
like
say-
1,500 now. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna keep my hand up. I'm thinking if we all go back together, maybe we can take it and then run.
Ori,
Yeah.
I would then put your hand down until the bidding slows down. Because
Right.
we're see how high this goes and who if we get outbid naturally. But if everyone's bidding on this right now, it's gonna reach a natural slowdown.
Right. That's
So-
fair.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I think we wait and we try to like doubt a little, and see who's gonna,
Okay.
and
But-
like if we can get behind the.
Waiting till it
Treasure
slows down.
room.
Keeping an eye out.
Okay.
Because if it gets to the point where even we can't afford it combined, then we're gonna have to take a hard look of who's getting what. And besides, we still had that mystery. Pan and I still could see that mystery person. I know I'm I'm very suspicious of what's going down soon anyway.
Yeah, I feel like we
we're
should
gonna
be
have
looking
to do
to
a
see
murder.
anyways instead of spending our money.
Or we can charm them. which is
I
like-
can charm them. Let's see how the bidding goes. Let's see who goes for it.
The bidding continues to escalate. It gets up to right now, it's at 1,500, goes up to 2,000 gold pieces. As it does so, it starts to slow down a little bit. Gets up to about 200, 225. More hands start to recede. They're not moving up as much. Quellion himself is still bidding. He's still very active. He's very excited about this.
Quailian.
Is he
To kill you.
is Quillian like to where like if I could lean forward, where I can be like, you have an interest in the artifact. Do you know what it is?
Isn't he kind of like on the side?
He's on the opposite side of you. So there's a kind of half circle. And so you're on one side, he's on the other side right now.
Okay.
Okay. The price starts going up even more. It goes up from 225 now to 225, 2,250 goes up to 2,500.
I mean,
At that
if we
point-
pull funds with Quillian, then we could, you know,
We can't really
We can't really.
tell him about that though.
We don't give a shit about Quillian. We should just rob the guy.
Well, we may be able to at least. We'll probably rob him, but we may be able to find out some more information from him, honey, and all that good stuff. I'll be right back.
Okay.
he seems like a really easy fight.
Target, right? Dude's a musician.
Quellion, he's kind of slowing down on his raising now too. You can see him kind of pull back a little bit. However, there is a hooded figure again, raising their paddle up again.
Okay. I want to move, and I want to move, and I want to give Dave like a little "let's go" like split up type of look.
Okay. Like split up to get the hooded figure.
Yeah, we want to go see who this guy is. Like, I want to try to find out who this dude is and why he's bidding on it. He's obviously our person of interest in this encounter.
Do my eagle eyes, because we have eagle eyes from one of my tokens things, that just gives me really good eyesight. Does that help me out with deciphering who he is?
No, this person is clad completely in a robe. It's just like how you had seen before, a burgundy robe covering basically most of their body.
Okay.
Y'all go. I'm gonna stay with Mikage. Keep an eye on Quellion.
The
Alright,
pricing still
well-
continues to go up a little bit more. It goes up to 3,000 gold pieces now. Quellion is, you sense, like his hand is kind of not quite sure. He's raising his paddle up a little bit. He puts his paddle up. Price goes to 32.50. The hooded figure looks over at Quellion. You can see the hooded figure look over at Quellion.
We may have to protect him.
And then sides. They are about to raise their paddle, but then they hear a sound. They put their paddle down. The auctioneer Falco goes off. Once. Twice. Sold. Hits the gavel. You see Quellion. He stands up, kind of smiling, but at the same time too, he seems a little bit apprehensive about it.
Kind of want to get up and follow him to the back.
Quellion?
Since there's no more items to purchase, I guess I will make my way towards the door. So I'll be going towards Quellion.
I'm gonna come with you.
You see a line of individuals. There are a few of them that have done the same route as you, where they bought several items, but they wanted to purchase it all at the very end. So you see you see two guards at the front where the door is, and you see a table in front of you as well with one of the assistants. Who essentially they mark off. They are taking the money from the buyers, marking them down, and you see them hand them a slip of paper. And then just by one, they are kind of going into the room, and then afterwards they are no longer seen. They go back and then they're gone.
Has Quellion already gone through the door, or is he in line with us?
He's currently in line right now, so he's kind of waiting too. You also see the hooded figure also in line as well. That person goes up to the front, puts in a bag of money, passes on, and then just is gone to the back.
What did they purchase?
There were a handful of trinkets that they had purchased. They were fairly nondescript. I mean, it was just a Fabergé egg here, a necklace belonging to some princess or something like that. It didn't seem to have much interest in many of the other people, and so this hooded person picked it up.
Okay. Good to know.
I'm gonna kind of not elbow Quellion, but kind of touch his shoulder and be like, "Hey, are you okay? You seem a little rattled by that last item."
I must admit, I did not expect myself to win this one, and it is quite a price to pay. But you know that luck favors the bold, and so. But it is quite a how do you say it is quite a notorious item here. So A part of me really wants it, of course, but the other part of me tells me that I will probably have a bullseye on my head in the near future. So you can understand that I am both excited. I must have it, of course, but I'm not looking forward to the scuffles that I will be having in the near future.
Why do you think people will want to take it from you? And what is it? I just want to get info about it, basically.
Oh, have you not seen my friend? All these particular people here, they have not been just buying, indiscriminately. They have been looking at you as well. These are not the type of people that you would take home, of course, to your parents. So this is just a small glimmer of that. There are many more, and the Hands of Babel is quite legendary, of course. There are quite a few stories of people who have lost their lives to have these things. So for me to be a part of this history, well, it's quite an honor, of course.
Question for you, Qualian. We have a little bit of interest in this item too. I'm not saying that we want to take it from you, but maybe, one of the things we've done is, as adventurers, is protect important things. Maybe we can help you in exchange to study it a little bit.
Well, I could use the company, and of course you are quite entertaining, especially you, Pan, with your flute playing, of course. So you must play for me again once we are able to finish this transaction, of course. Would you mind doing that for?
Yeah, definitely.
Single tear. Single tear down Pan's face.
Well, he probably doesn't remember the flute at all, but the thing is, he remembers the thing. He's like, okay, just don't remember. Because remember, I gave up the flute, the memory with the
I
flute.
thought I gave up the flute playing, not the memory that
You
I
gave up
used
the
to
flute
play
playing,
the flute.
the ability to
Yeah.
play the flute. Yeah.
But I know that I did play it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just like
Yeah,
awkward.
I gave up my memory of,
Family, right?
I think family, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think so.
And I gave up my memory of basic.
The face of your parents, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So even if I look at an image, it's not going to stick.
Yeah.
So no, that's sad.
Yeah.
But
Or gave
yes,
up
sure.
And then you have
I
memory
gave
of your.
up
Go ahead.
not the memory of the lich, but the phylactery, the ring with the broken gemstone, which was my last piece of her, which in turn will give me 1 fewer points on any performance check I have to do, because that's what gave me the most confidence, was my last piece of her.
Gotcha. Yep. As you start to get closer and closer to the front of the line, however, you see some of the assistants kind of shuffling about a little bit. They start to talk with one another, and there's some whispering and some hushed voices.
Can I ask Qualian about the halfling that took the sword? Does he recognize them?
Oh, him? He buys everything that is larger than he is. He's quite the collector of all these dragon-like weapons and things like that. I don't know his name yet, but I've seen him at a few of these auctions, and it is. He always buys the second to last item for some reason, never the first one, or never the last one. I don't know, but the big money, of course, is where the last one is. As you start getting closer and closer, though, however, the voices, there seem to be more erratic, rather. They start talking with one another. You see them start to, in hushed voices, talk to one another. It's like, hey, something's going on in the back.
Can we tell it if it's because we are approaching the booth, or if it's something else that...
It's something else. Some of the other people in line are also starting to get anxious about it as well, too. And they're calling out, hey, what's going on? What's this? And people are they're causing a commotion now. And then Falco, the auctioneer, in a loud, booming voice, goes, "I apologize for this disturbance. For those of you who have not made your purchases, I apologize, but the auction is concluded. There's no more to be done here. You need to go home now." He starts disbanding people. People are visibly upset. They're storming, they're yelling, they're causing quite a commotion. You see the guards at the front trying to push back at some of these other people who are trying to buy their items right now. The assistants are scuffling around, they're trying to get things. There's a commotion going on behind them. Everybody seems to be very upset about this.
During the commotion, is there any spot that we could possibly slip in to go to the back and see what's happening?
Give me a perception check.
That will do.
All of us, or I assume? Or,
Let's go with all of you. Yeah, all of you.
Can you throw mine for me? I'm on computer right now.
Yes, I can.
maybe? Yeah.
Yes.
Sweet.
There we go. All right. So it's good for Mikage and Pan. Mikage and Pan, you see an opening. At a certain point, the service staff, the guards, they're kind of pushing back. They're trying to do so. One of the patrons who's trying to buy something is very upset. He flips one of the tables, and as he does so, the staff is just rushing to pick up things, and they're trying to assuade him. In that moment, Mikage, you see a glimmer, a moment where the door is briefly left open.
All right. I'm also casting Pass Without a Trace. Hopefully, I'll get a bit of roll. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to grab those that don't see. We're all booking it for
Okay.
that.
So I was
As
gonna
you
say,
do.
Pan and Dave, I know that we've gone, Mikage and I have gone with Qualian up there. Pan and Dave, where are y'all? Up with us, or?
Well, I assume that we.
Yeah, we're
followed-
just all together now.
just
We
all
just followed you up.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're Barbarian with us.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we are.
Sounds good. Pan, as you are rushing up there as well, you notice a slip of paper on the floor, and you pick it up as you go. Okay? You're able to make it now into the next room, and you are in the back. You're able to get past all the guards and everyone without a sight. Okay? Now, I'm going to pause for a minute now and ask, okay, it is now 11:10. Do you guys want to continue, or do you guys want to call it a night?
I kind of want to call it a night. I've got to get up early tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'm thinking the continuing will probably last a while.
Maybe a little
Knowing
while.
us.
Might be a little while.
Knowing
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That sounds good. So I think this is a good stopping place. You guys all made it through the door. You have made it behind, and you have a slip of paper. Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, this was interesting. This was really cool, guys. All right. Well, like we always do, I like to do a quick retro. I know get everybody off to bed as quick as I can. So I do a like, love, learn, lack. So we'll start off with Sean, if you could, please. What did you like, love, learn, lack? Or was there anything lacking, of course?
Yeah, I think I still need to get caught up on the story because it was
A lot of stuff happened.
a lot of stuff happened. But yeah, I mean not a lot of action this time, but I don't know if I learned anything. I like the weenie scene.
Like the wings.
Of course.
Cool.
Always do.
Anything lacking you want more of or less of?
No, still good.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Rachel, how about for you? Why don't you go next?
I like seeing Qualian again. It seems like it was probably 5 years ago that we last heard of him. Feels like a very long time. I really liked the auction, and I wish I could have. I might have. You said princess's necklace, and I was like, oh, hello, maybe. Um, I don't know if I learned. Well, I mean, I guess we learned where the Hand of Babel is, and I believe we're learning that it's probably being stolen as we speak, and we'll have to go do a murder soon. Um, it lacked, battle, but these things with a lot of information being told usually don't have a lot of battle in them. So, that's fine. It was interesting. I think we're about to do the battle.
It feels like.
It feels like. Got a feeling.
Awesome. Very good. All right. Thank you. Megan, if you could please, like, love, learn, lack.
Loved a lot that you're allowing me to incorporate my uh, dragon history and obsession. But we still get to incorporate like the main things we're looking for are also in there. I really like that you are tying in older characters that maybe I'm not familiar with, as such as life, people come into our world and go out and come back and forth and so on and so forth. There's not really anything that I find lacking. It's more that in making sure that we're keeping up with everything. I think when we have these big, thankfully everyone's here together, but if it was still missing one person in this big information like dump, it would have been, I think, a lot harder to, it ends up being a lot harder to pick people back up, especially if they're still interacting within the universe. Because Dave was just along for the ride, apparently. And now he's like, wait a second, what happened?
That's very true. That's a really good point, and I think I'm gonna make a note of that, and then do better to talk to whoever misses out next time and kind of fill you in on the details. So this way, it's not just this is what's going on, and you have to kind of take it all in like drinking from the hose. You know what I mean? So that is a really good point. So thank you for that. Okay, and Samad, if you could please, like, love, learn, lack.
So, I mean, I had something thought of before you started, and now I forgot of it. Um, I like this mysterious burgundy cloaked thing. Like, I don't know. I think it's cool, and I'm intrigued. That was my real only comment on the like, love, learn. There's nothing really to learn.
Okay.
Like, love, same, lack. I mean, I guess it was kind of slow, but that's fine.
Like, is it a person from our past? Is it a mysterious new character? Is it someone we've had an interaction with and is secretly out to get us? Is it a friend? Is it a foe? Sorry.
Yep.
There we go. That's what the forums are for. We could talk about, right? I'm just kidding. So, yeah, I had quite a bit planned, and so we went at our usual pace, which is interesting. That I should learn these things that we always, right, go deep into detail on some of these things, and so I was just like, oh, okay. But I do have some more fun things planned in store for you guys, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, the layers are coming. They're starting to peel back a little bit more, and so you guys are starting to learn more and like get really deep into it. Again, this is kind of the final arc or the final season, because we've had, the way I classify it, this is a 3-arc or 3-season story, and so we've already passed the first 2. We're in the final one right now, and so this is the last kind of bits that are happening, or rather, you are deep in the nitty gritty, and so we'll see how it goes. It was a little bit slower, a lot more role play though, which I thought was still fun. But I'm, looking forward to our next session, and hope you guys still had a good time. And Sean, if you want, I'll be happy to talk to you, or if you want to talk to Rachel about it, of course, all good. Let me know. I can fill in any details, and we'll go from there. So.
Was it Sean or who was it that has the event next week?
Oh, me, yeah. I'm out of town, and I will not be able to get on because I have a wedding that night.
Okay.
Oh.
Let me stop the streaming, and I guess we can go ahead and discuss our schedule for next time. But all right, thanks everybody who was listening, and we look forward to recording this again.